Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone from around the world, wherever you are, far and near and far. It's 6 o'clock Eastern time in the US. I know it's probably 11 o'clock in England, wherever you are in the world. In Nigeria, it's 7 p.m. In Hong Kong, it's probably about morning now. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Pitch Points, working with True City Fan TV and Vader Games TV and the Mancunian Way and my good friend Ade. Welcome to everyone to the show today. We have a really good show for you guys today. A really good show. I want to welcome Mancunian Way. Welcome, brother. First time you're here.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
By the way, I love that intro music. I felt like I wanted to go and have a little sleep there. I felt like I was in a bit of a rainforest.
That's the whole idea, mate.
It was great.
Welcome, Martin. Good to have you on. For those who don't know, Martin, share your handle so that everybody knows where you are on Twitter and on YouTube and where they can find you.
Yeah. At Horsey Sitter, if anyone wants to listen to my views. Yeah, at Horsey City, and we're on YouTube at the Mancunian Way, and TikTok, and Instagram, and everywhere else. We've got to get to the moon yet, but we'll be there shortly.
Absolutely. And for those who follow Martin and I on Twitter, Martin and I have vigorous debates. You think what's on Twitter is bad? You should see our private chats, man. But the good thing about it is that I actually learn from him a lot. It's always good tension, right? Because he lives in Manchester. He's a born blue. Goes to the Etihad every week as much as he can, and I learn a lot from him about the local fans, what it means, what the Premier League means to them, the Champions League, why they boo it. There's so much I learned from Martin and his show that makes me a better City fan, if you would. And I'm glad that he's able to join us today. So when you see the banter on Twitter, it's because we have a healthy respect for each other, and that makes us better individuals. Welcome, Patrick.
I sent you a message. This thing was refusing to connect me. I sent you an error message. It was same error. You can't be connected. I had to restart the computer and start the browser again. Like it was refusing to get me in. So sorry about that. Martin, how you doing? Ade, how you doing? Veta, how you doing? Guys watching, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Ade, welcome, brother. How are you doing?
I am fine, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We hear you.
Yeah, just getting set up right here. So I'll be on video in a short while. Good to see everyone.
Absolutely. And of course, Vader Game is all the way from Canada, not too far away from me. Welcome, my brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. These legendary shows and breakdowns, I've only been a part of a few, so I'm glad I'm able to be a part of this one. And it's going to be a nice one.
So, guys, the genesis of this, and welcome, Big Morgan, welcome out everybody out there. The genesis of this show really was spun out of a conversation I had with Patrick and Martin. I think it was Friday night, Martin. It was a Saturday night. Can't remember what night it was, where I think it was around 1 a.m. your time, 7 p.m. my time or something. And then we just started talking about Bernardo Silva and what we think may be happening, what's happening. So this show is going to do two things for you guys out there. It's going to show you, ask questions, and the panel will respond. And then we'll go into, if Bernardo were to leave, what options could we get and why, right? We did the similar thing for Calvin Phillips when Fernandinho was going to leave. We did the exact same kind of analysis show, and we were pretty much spot on with Calvin Phillips coming to City because we looked at the numbers, the data, the heat maps, all that stuff. We thought about it from a board perspective, from a fan perspective, and we came to the conclusion that Calvin Phillips was going to come. Martin also did something similar with Erling Haaland back over a year ago, and he was right that Erling Haaland was going to come, and so we do the same thing as well. So this show is really just meant for us to dig deep into Bernardo Silva and what we think is going to happen. But before we do that, we see a few of our friends online. Daniel, welcome. Big Morgan, welcome. Big up Daniel. Daniel says 2 over 2 wins. Newcastle next. We move like a machine. Let's talk about just real recap. Did everybody watch that game today? The Liverpool game? Anyone watch it?
Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed because I'm a bit annoyed because I guaranteed the team I thought was going to win have managed to go and drop 2 points. Damn Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Because I actually thought, Crystal Palace have to go and drop 2 points, don't they? It's just not on.
Yeah. There was on Patrick's show, Patrick's new show, Patrick. You want to talk about your new show where we talked about the review of the Liverpool game?
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm going to shamelessly plug in. So, guys, I've decided to remove the football and chill show. It was on episode 6. It was an amazing show because Veta loved it because it was calm, and we could speak about all types of football. We love football a lot, so we could speak about other teams. But every time I bring a panel, guys, I love you, my City fans from True City Fan channel. But I noticed that it was a City channel, so every time I bring that on, some people come late and not realize that we're doing a panel discussion. So look, guys, I love you, my fellow City fans. I'll continue doing the City content every time, but I decided to just take that away to another channel. So I opened up a channel. Martin, thanks for the follow. Veta, thanks for the follow. Pitch Points also, thanks for the follow. I just subscribed to Pitch Points via the Football and Chills podcast. The podcast, guys, I'm not going to take much of your time. It's going to be different. There's going to be interviews. There's going to be a lot of tactical talk. There's going to be a lot of just football talk in general. What's happening in the football world? The first episode, I think, Carl, we're going to talk about Barcelona. What's going on in Barcelona? So that's how it's going to go. So it's just something chilled. Always come in with a drink. Come in with a drink. Come in with a meal. Your food. Relax. It's all going to be calm. So subscribe to Football and Chill podcast.
You know, it's funny because Martin, the way Martin and I met was about 2-3 years ago, where we were on the show called the Friday Night Social. Martin, remember that Friday Night Social?
Yeah,
and we would talk.
did
For
many
hours.
of them.
we would talk for
You mean
hours.
the ones that used to be like an hour long and they turned into like 4 a.m.?
Yeah. We would talk for hours over a glass of bourbon or wine and just talk for hours. So similar to what you're going to do, Patrick. But turning to other things. Sergio Gomez, I guess, was announced today. Correct? He's our new left back. Okay. So let's get.
Yeah, there's a bit. There's just a picture, Carl. There's just a picture from the City Plus. But that picture, I don't know where it's come from, because when you go there, you can't find all this. But you know, it always happens. Somebody ends up leaking something. So it's look, I'm not concerned. We saw him in Manchester. He's gonna be our left back. It's been confirmed by Pep. So I'm all good. Nice beard out there. Nice beard.
So if for those who don't know, Adi has
Thank you.
Has a thing for Nuno. Nuno, he loves Nuno. So no surprise that he's looking like Nuno, handsome like Nuno. Adi had a Wolves shirt too at one point in time when
I actually like that team.
Every single game.
Yeah.
All right, then. Let's go into some. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to put up a presentation, and then I talk to Vader, Patrick, or Adi. Anyone can read the comments that are out there, and we can talk about. I'll ask questions, and we kind of walk through. Give me 1 sec. Let me share my screen so we can now go into the show itself. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen, everyone.
Man, when you sent me this morning, I was amazed. Veta, this man went deep into his mind. Jesus Christ, Carl. You always bring the level up. As soon as I think I caught up to you, boom, you hit me with something new. But big up to you. I'm here to get educated anyway.
Let me also say this,
everybody, because we're all going to have a role in talking about this today. A lot of this stuff happens in the shower, by the way. I just think about things in the shower. And I run it by you, Martin, Ade, and I ask you. Because Ade, we talked about this last week, right? We talked about
we did.
This, and so we said, let's just do it today. So the topic is goodbye and hello, right? The case for City midfielder if Bernardo Silva leaves. And we'll just go into this. So, to go or not to go, is this a goodbye? Martin, Veta, Ade, Patrick, what's the latest on Bernardo Silva? As of today, what have you heard about this potential leaving or staying? I've been out of the wheel, so I don't know much going on. Can somebody start and talk about what they know as of today?
Give it to Martin.
Martin, go ahead.
Well, at the moment, it seems to be a tug of war between the English press and the Spanish press, because the Athletic have come out today and said that, I think it was Paul Ballas, who does that show with Sammy Lee, who's come out and said basically it's going to take near enough 100 million to get him out the door. They don't think that he'll get a replacement, so the chances are that he's going to stay. Then the Barcelona media have hit back saying that they're still going to do the bid for Bernardo Silva. So at the moment, the trouble is you don't hear anything from the clubs. Clubs don't, City especially, don't talk. They never do the talking in the media unless it's a dismiss something outright. Obviously, we've had Pep's embargo section, KDB's embargo section from Saturday night, comments about he thinks Bernardo's going to stay. So, to be totally honest, there's nothing concrete. It's just a tug of war between the medias at the moment and which one's going to be right.
Yeah, I mean, KDB's comments were that his comments were quoted, quote, that he's not worried about Bernardo leaving. He doesn't think Bernardo's going to leave and that he'll be here for at least a year. Those are KDB's comments. And then in Pep's embargoed conference, Ade, Pep was very clear. When they asked him, they said, hey, do you expect to do any more business this window? He said no. And then he stopped for a second and he paused and said, maybe if we lose someone, we will have to replace that person. Now, we all know who he's talking about, right? What's the vibe that you're hearing or feeling about Bernardo?
So, I mean, I think that's just Pep being balanced. He's not trying to say, oh, he's never gonna go this season, and then he happens to go. But reality is, Barcelona are really just trying to. I think they're trying to generate news for themselves. They're trying to, because they need a lot of money. It's not just about, so these new players are all about people wanting to come and see Barcelona and Barcelona making money. And that's what all this is about. All these players, again, the Lewandowskis, Koundé, and all these other guys. So at the end of the day, if you look at their money situation, Bernardo Silva doesn't work out for them this year because they would have to pay upwards of 80 million pounds in addition to his salary. And they just managed to register like 5 people because they sold some TV rights again. So when you put all that in context, I think the news they're generating is more like future. It's after the season. I can see Bernardo leaving after the season. This season, it's really, really, really unlikely that they come up with that money, come up with the salary, and then we make a deal where, because they will have to get rid of Young or sell some more TV rights to get the money enough to get him to us. And all that happening in a short amount of time, I don't see it happening. So I think it's more, so all this stuff about, and that's why KDB was like, I see Bernardo saying, like, that's bottom line. He's not Pep. It doesn't have to be like managerial in his delivery. He's like, yeah, I see him staying. We love him. He's staying. Next season, I think he probably most likely leaves. But this season, he's not going anywhere.
And Vader, and that's kind of why we put this chart here about the 3 quadrants, right? Or the 3 arcs, if you would: time, price, and replacement, right? Those are the 3 things about this deal, right? They have to come up with the right price. And today we heard from Paul Ballas, who's tier 1. I mean, he's close to Pep. There are books about him that he's written about Guardiola, right? Price is going to be 100 million pounds, right? Time we have left is 2 weeks left. And then we also have to have a replacement. When you factor all those 3 things in, what's the likelihood of this happening, in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't think the likelihood's very likely to be honest with you. I think the frustrating part as a fan, what's annoying, and Ade kind of talked about it, is everything that keeps getting talked about from Barcelona, like all the speculation, all the rumors. But I think, to his point, it is the speculation. There's value in that. There's value in, oh, this good quality player can come to the club. So I think it's just to remain interested or interesting in the media and in the news, because that may get more suitors with regards to the deals that they're trying to establish. So Bernardo always being talked about, I kind of get it. I've removed myself from it, but there's no way. Time, to your point, the time, the price, and the fact that we would have to replace him. Now, I get a little nervous because I'm like, if there's a manager that's going to be like, I got this, we don't need to replace him, it's Pep. So I get a little nervous with that, but I think it's going to remain good business, good board planning, forward thinking. So no movement from Bernardo.
And Martin, I mean, that's a good point that Veta makes. And Martin and actually Patrick come to this. We saw after the game on Saturday, even though time is limited, the price is going to be high for Bernardo, and we need a replacement. We saw him clap the fans at the end of the game. And you and I have kind of sparred on this and talked about this and thought about this. What does that mean? Is he thanking them for the support. Because what I heard, Martin, was that the moment he came onto to play, the fans never stopped singing his name. Are you at the stadium, Martin? And Patrick, you watched the game. Is that true? And what did he mean by going around and clapping for the fans? What do you think it meant?
I'll start with Martin because Martin was there. So I'd like to hear from somebody who was at the stadium. Then I'll talk about me being somebody outside the stadium. So Martin, go ahead.
Yes, they were singing his name all the way through, and it was great. Even when he was warming up, sang it louder when he came on. But yes, he did stay behind on his own and went to all four corners, all four sides, took his shirt off, gave it to a young person, which was lovely, and then made his point of being the last person off the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
He did make the point of being the last one off. Funny thing, the thing that spiraled it out of control is because he was then on a plane to Spain that night. Mm. That was the thing that sparks everyone off then. Now, to add his point, he just said that about Barca not having the money. It's not so much the fee, it's more the wages that Barca would have to try and move around, because the wage, it all depends what City do. If Barca come with that 80 million and City go, we want the money up front, we want, say, 50, 60 million up front, and then we'll do the 20 over amortization over 4 years, then fine, he can't go. If Barcelona say, if City go, all right then, well, 80 million quid, and you start paying us like they have with Ferran Torres, because don't forget, they've only just started paying for Ferran Torres.
Right.
They basically had him for free for a year. Then it's a different talking point. They have got the money for that. They just have. They'll just activate another lever and away they go. Because they're trying to, it looks like Aubameyang or Memphis Depay might be going out. There's no guarantees of Frankie de Jong staying at the moment, because the Barcelona fans have now turned on him and calling him all sorts of things, because the Barca fans have decided that they're going to back their club rather than a player who's being more or less screwed at the moment, let's be honest. So I keep having this, about this debate with you, Carl. I keep changing my mind on it day in, day out. I don't know how to see it. It all comes to me. Do I think there's no chance of him going? No. I think it's 50-50 for me, goes. Apparently the rumours are he's agreed his personal terms. You've got to remember, a year ago he left his house in Manchester and went and got an apartment in the city centre rented. So he was sort of already bags packed and out the door 12 months ago. So for me, I'm until it, I keep saying it comes down to this charity game on the 24th. Because I'm telling you now, there could be some trickery or whatever's played in this game. This game is not just a charity game. I'm not having it. I'm not having that this charity game has suddenly just appeared on the calendar of, hey, look, let's all do a nice charity game. And there's not going to be anything over there when Laporte has spent 2 months telling us how great his relationship is with City and the board.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm 50-50 with it. I really am.
And Patrick, what about you? What was your sense of when you left the stadium and waved to all the fans? What was
first of all, to me, I'm gonna come from another angle. For me, he looks like a man who's been defeated. What I mean by that is, it looks like a man who wanted to do something and it didn't work out. For me, it looks like a guy who said, "Yeah, Barcelona will cough up the money, and I'll be gone from here, and they will certainly take me first." Because this is the funny thing, right? The profile player between all the players that Barcelona are signing, who's the best player? Bernardo Silva. People are trying to tell me getting Frank Kessie, yes, on a free, I get it, is important. Frank Kessie, who's Frank Kessie? We just known him for a few seasons. Getting somebody like the guys that getting Alonso, why are they prioritizing people who are not Bernardo? This is just me. If you know that Bernardo is the main focus and your number one target that you've been telling us for the past years, that's what the Barcelona media are telling us. Why wouldn't he be the first one? Why, as soon as you sell those shares of yours or whatever, those rights to anything, why is he not number one out of the door? So for me, I have a feeling that Bernardo is not going anywhere. I have a feeling that it was going to happen, but I have a feeling that he looks like a man who's been defeated. That's what I think. Looks like a guy who had something planned and it's not worked out. And City have said, dude, you know we don't stand in the way of our players, but tough luck. Your people are not coming to with the price. What do you want us to do? Maybe that sort of what do you want us to do? Barcelona is not coming because there was an article by someone saying, but Bernardo Silva is disappointed that Barcelona haven't come with the money yet or haven't lived a part of the deal. It was there for a while lingering around, but now you hear the vice captain De Bruyne come up and say, I don't think he's going anywhere. Like in a sort of, I don't think he's going anywhere. And he's also not hinting that Bernardo is staying forever. He's hinting like, I don't think anything is going to happen within this window. To be honest with you guys, Martin, Ade, Kao, and Veta, I'm going to say one thing. If by any chance, right, especially with that friendly match you're talking about, which I don't like it, because why are we accepting? And the way sometimes we are so casual with Barcelona, especially the press with Laporta and Pep, where Laporta was making jokes about Bernardo Silva as if he owns shares in City. I didn't like that. I like the way Pep said you will struggle to get him. I like that answer. If Pep just laughed it off, I was going to say, but you're right about that. That friendly. And then Laporta says, oh, is Bernardo going to be playing in that friendly? Do you remember that hint he said?
I remember.
Bernardo? Yeah, then Pep said everybody's going to be playing, not only Bernardo. Those hints, like, look, at the end of the day, Martin, as you say, if we go to Barcelona and Bernardo says I'm staying, and when we are leaving Barcelona, we take either Xavi or Frankie de Jong, I'm not going to cry over it. I'll be like, fair play, because Xavi has told Barcelona, you signed Bernardo Silva, I'm not going anywhere. But for me, I'm telling you this, there's just the feeling that with the time left, with what De Bruyne has said, with what some people who are reliable, who get briefed by their club, are saying the club will not take anything less than 100 million. I doubt Barcelona will have time to bring all that. Yep. If Barcelona pull this off, I swear, I will never doubt Barcelona again. If they pull this,
well, this takes us to the next slide, right, Beta, where we talked about time, price, and replacement, and the more I think about it, and I talked to Martin about this as well. The more the time gets squeezed, right, between now and the 31st, the more the replacement points to a particular direction, the more a transaction can happen, right? And we'll talk about who those particular people are. In fact, let's just do it now. So we've scouted, we think there are probably maybe 5 people we can think who could replace Bernardo if Bernardo does go, right? Bernardo gets on the plane.
Can we take off Nunes now?
Well,
because Wolves are on him.
Nunes is going to Wolves. Nunes is going to Wolves, by the way. Matheus Nunes in the club transfer record for 45 million euros.
So and that isn't a surprise, considering we all know the Portuguese links at Wolves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So that leaves us with 4, okay? We have Lucas Paquetá, the guy on the left here, with the Brazilian shirt. We have Jude Bellingham, who is at Dortmund right now. He's 18, 19. We have Nicolo Barella, who is a fantastic baller in Italy for Inter Milan. And then we have Frankie de Jong, who is under duress at Barcelona, and who, by the way, has the same valuation as Bernardo Silva, who, by the way, has refused to sign for United. He doesn't want to go to Chelsea. He is not loved by the Barcelona fans, and Pep loves him to death. So we have these 4. And when we look at what their current financial situation is, all right, for all these players, these are the contract end dates. Frankie de Jong has 2026, Paquetá 2025, Nunes, well, he's gone now, right? Barella 2026, and then Jude is 2025. The valuations right now are, these are from a transfer market, 70, 35 to 40 million, 35 to 40 million, 70 and 80. It's interesting because Wolves are bidding 40 million pounds for Nunes, and we got that number kind of spot on right here. The salaries are crazy. I mean, look at Frankie's salary, right? £474,000 a week. Paquetá is 49,000 pounds, Nunes 10,000, Barella 75,000, and Jude is 50,000. Yeah, obviously Liverpool want Jude Bellingham. They're trying to get him next year, but lots of fans love him. I'm still on the fence with him, but let's talk about how these guys all pair up against Bernardo Silva. What's their stats, their data, technical, defensive, attacking, and the heat map versus Bernardo Silva. Guys, anything else you guys want to pick up here that you see that's interesting that you want to talk about? We move on to the next slide.
No, it looks fine. I mean, I see the Frankie De Jong salary. He will need to take a significant pay cut if he's
Yeah,
coming
we
to
need to
City.
take a pay cut.
A significant one.
We need to take a pay cut. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, it looks good to me.
Okay, so let's go to some of the analysis right here. Let's look at, okay, so what we have here, guys, out there in, and Veta, any comments right now? So far, anybody commenting, you want to read the comments out, or anyone?
Big Morgan says Bernardo's on 150K a year at City. I've been hearing that's probably one of the reasons he's a bit unhappy. So Big Morgan might be up to something there. CM City says the claps for me means that he is more likely leaving as possible, or it's just for me. I believe that's more, showing the fans that he appreciates them and he really loves them, even though he might want to leave. It's a way to let the fans know that I'm still a blue, even though I want to leave. It's not personal. It's just a difference of opinions with the club. So for me, that's kind of what it seems to me. But it's anybody's guess as to why they.
Anybody's guess.
Those are few of the comments.
But if you were to leave, Martin, Jude is someone I know you guys love particularly, Martin. A lot of the local fans love Jude Bellingham. One is English, two is young, three he's a good player. And when he came to the Etihad for the Champions League,
Liverpool want him.
for Liverpool want him as well. We compare his heat map to Bernardo's on the right, Jude is on the left, and the heat map represents the average time that a player spends in a particular position over the course of the season. This being last season, for example, so 2021-22, throughout the Bundesliga campaign for Dortmund and the Champions League, Jude Bellingham's heat map, where he played positionally, averagely, is on the left-hand side, and Bernardo's on the right. If you compare the left side to Bernardo's left side, they're pretty similar, guys, right? Veda, Ade, Patrick,
it is.
Martin? Very similar.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. I think what you see is you just see how much space Bernardo does cover and what makes him such a special player. But yeah, it is very similar. I do. The question I want to ask is whether you've seen this, and maybe we can talk about it as we go through the slides. But the understanding of their strong foot and weak foot, like knowing whether both players feel more comfortable having the ball on either foot, because we know how dominant Silva is with that left, but he's still an amazing, effective player. But yeah, these heat maps are very close, and I understand why so many people, rate, other than yourself, rate Bellingham.
Yeah, the thing with sorry, go on,
Go ahead,
Martin.
I was going to say the thing with Bellingham is he ticks a lot of the boxes. Age, you got to remember that this lad is still. You got to remember this lad came on the scene at 16 at Birmingham, and United wanted him then, and he chose, as many youngsters do, they choose to go to Dortmund because they all know at Dortmund. This is why I got so upset with Brighton. Sorry if I'm going off sort of into a cul-de-sac here. I don't mean to. If you look at Brighton, the idea for Brighton, why I think Cucurella got annoyed was because the understanding is you go to a Brighton, you earn your stripes for a year or two, and then you make the money and you go to a bigger club. That's exactly how Borussia Dortmund work. They did it with Haaland, they'll do it with Jude Bellingham, they did it with Sancho. They bring in young players out of academies that aren't getting the plaudits or the game time that they may need or want, and they play them. They literally play them week in, week out. They played him in all the big games. They gain that experience. Now, what I like about Jude, he's big, he's versatile, he's strong, and he glides across the pitch. Absolutely, looks like he's ice skating. He glides so eloquently and so confidently with the ball. He's got a really good engine on him, good pass. But one thing I think you'll see with all these heat maps is none of them cover any of the ground that Bernardo does. Bernardo's heat map is all over the shop because of the amount of running. We all know he's got the Premier League record for running distance. That's the trouble. You're never going to replace Bernardo's running It's kilometers. You won't ever replace that. But with Bellingham, what I like about it is, imagine him under Pep. He's only going to get better. He's still young. He's going to get better, more hungrier. And that's why at the moment he's what, 19, 20, and he's valued at what, over 100 million.
Right.
So
Yeah. You know what? I
So-
also, I mean,
ahead.
there's the physicality and there's him learning his position and ability, but you also can't teach size, right? I like the dimensions of him as a player, and if he can be molded to kind of think the way Bernardo does,
Yeah.
it would be a nice advantage.
Okay, so for me, I have a slightly different take on this. Like, I understand the heat map gives you their work rate, and that's fine. They're close to similar, but you'd be hard pressed to find somebody with Bernardo Silva's work rate. The difference between the two players is in the possession of the ball. When they possess the ball, the intelligence to be able to get out of a tough situation, to go back and read the game, pick up the ball from the goalkeeper, push it up, or when you know that they're having trouble moving the ball up. Those little things that Bernardo does, the short passes, being able to operate in tight spaces. Bellingham's strength is being strong and going forward, kind of like Gondo does sometimes, where he'll shoot forward and try to get a goal. Bernardo's main job is keeping possession and holding the ball, frustrating the opponent, drawing them closer. That you learn with experience. He's like Bernardo Silva is, and this is kind of, it will be like a slight, but it's not. He's like a little bit more of an energetic David Silva, or when maybe he was similar to David Silva when David Silva was younger. But David Silva, the experience he learned later on is why he was able to really still operate at almost the same level of intelligence on the football, where he controls the game, the short passes, he reads it, he knows where to move in and out of spaces and draw the defenders out. That's exactly what Bernardo Silva does. And no disrespect to Bellingham, he's not at that level yet. He's at the level of he's learning the game, and I get that. So that's the difference for me.
Absolutely. There are two things that I want to just bring to bear here. Number one is the little pentagon down below, right? So the top three data facts here are the creativity and the attacking parts. The green is Bernardo, the blue is Jude. So attacking wise, Bernardo's better. He has 68 points over 65 points for Jude. Technically wise, Bernardo again is better. He has 71 versus Jude 70. Creativity is about the same. That's what they say here. But on the defensive side, right, you see that Jude actually has just 2 points more than Bernardo. And on the tactical side, which is basically defensive positioning, tactically, Jude has just a bit more than Bernardo, which is why the heat map, you can see that Jude's heat map in the defensive third is a bit brighter than Bernardo's on the defensive third. And I remember looking at Bernardo's heat map 2 years ago when he was or 3 years ago when he just in the 17-18 season. He was lopsided on the right side because he played along the right side. Jude is still young, so it's no surprise that he's right-footed, and naturally the right-footed players who play midfield are normally heavy heat maps on the left side. That's why Declan Rice has a heat map that's heavy on the left side because he's right-footed. Bernardo's left-footed, so when he started off with City, his heat map was heavy on the right side because he's left-footed. But now Bernardo's become this all-around creative player who covers the ground, and now you see the equal distribution of the heat map across the attacking third of City going forward. It really is an amazing, picture of how these players are close to each other. Which, Martin, to your point,
you've got to remember, he's learned that from Pep though, because he wasn't doing that at Monaco. If you look what he did at Monaco, he wasn't a runner all over the pitch and going. That's come with Pep. Now, you think about it with Bellingham, I didn't realise this till I looked earlier. Jude Bellingham is nearly 10 years younger. 19,
18,
Bernardo's 28.
19 or 18, yeah.
And we see how close they are. Exactly. 19. We're seeing how close they are now. I'm just thinking Bellingham with 10 years under Pep, he can actually, but saying that, I'll be honest with you, I don't see Bellingham as a Bernardo replacement. I think he'd be more of a Gundo replacement. But I know that's a different subject.
Absolutely,
yeah, but
Martin,
you know that
you right there.
You know about this kid though. You guys, You guys have to know this. I think we're forgetting that Pep Guardiola had to go to the manager of Dortmund and say, "How old is this kid? Is he actually 17?" This kid plays football as if he's not young. And when you look at him, I know, Carl, you don't rate him, and
No, no, no,
maybe
no.
we'll get you.
I'm 50-50, right? Maybe
Yeah,
I'm trying to rate him.
we'll try to get you on board with this one. There's something special about this kid. I was surprised when they were looking at him at United. I was like, what's so special? I was like, why would Bellingham retire a shirt of a kid? Why were Bellingham fans crying over this kid? His brother also seems to have not fallen far away from the tree. The brother seems to also be a baller. But this kid, under Pep, my God, as Martin is saying, I think this kid will be different gravy under Pep because there's potential there and there's a high ceiling. This kid has a high ceiling that he can become a world-class player because what he did to us in those games, even though we beat Dortmund, he played as if he's the guy who's mature in the team. He was actually bigging up his teammates, saying, "Let's go, let's keep going." Like that's what I like about Dortmund. They give freedom to these youths, and they are able to say things. Like Haaland in that team used to high five people, and him and Jude Sancho were like leaders, but they were kids. And for you to think that he's just 19, and we're looking at his hit map, and we're looking at all the stats that he's close to Bernardo. Yes, nobody run as much as Bernardo, but Martin has made an excellent point. Was Bernardo running as much at Monaco? No. Bernardo at Monaco wasn't pressing as much as this. All he was doing is he was known as bubblegum because the ball stuck to his leg. Nobody could get the ball away from him. The reason why we got him, obviously, we were looking for a replacement for Bernardo Silva. Even though the first years we thought, my God, this guy is not as good as Bernardo Silva, but I know as David Silva, my bad. But now we've seen that he's actually the closest thing to David Silva. I think Jude could actually be great, even if the fact that Bernardo, by some miracle, doesn't leave. It's actually Gundo that leaves. I hope they give Gundo a contract. I think adding Jude wouldn't be bad to that midfield, regardless, because our midfield is actually becoming older, and adding Jude would actually be an advantage. And I think he can become such a great player under Pep. I'm just sad that what's his name? Southgate doesn't play him as well as he should. Doesn't play him how he's supposed to be played. But Jude is a star. I think this kid is a star. And if we manage to get him away from the hands of Liverpool, who I hear the rumors that have been speaking to him for the past few seasons, I would be happy because this kid can cause trouble in that Liverpool midfield. Trust me.
Veda and Martin, just kind of close this one up here. What stops us right now from getting him either this year or next year? What's prohibiting us from doing that?
Dortmund won't sell two of their prize assets in one window. There's no way Dortmund do that. It'd be that's suicidal on their behalf. But to your point though, because I think you watched the same game that I watched, Bellingham does look a little bit lost without Haaland.
Yes.
You got to remember with Bellingham for 2 years has had Sancho and Haaland. Sancho goes, okay, right, I've got Haaland. He's now got neither of them. Yeah. So Bellingham is now, even at 19, has become the star guy at Dortmund without realising it. Now we don't know how that pressure is gonna toll on the young lad. We really don't. But for me, Liverpool have been very clever here. Liverpool are doing what we did with Haaland. They're getting in a year and a half early. So they're sort of getting to him, getting him round his head, getting the idea going. They're trying to steal a march on everyone else. And for me, going back to, and even if it isn't Bernardo, you've still got KDB 31, 32 approaching. Gundo, even if he signs a new contract, you're still going to need to replace him. And I like the idea of replacing someone while they're there rather than after they've gone. I'd rather be, I don't like being reactionary on things. I like him to be the other way. So for me, it ticks so many boxes. But for Bellingham, do I see him as a direct Bernardo replacement? No, because I think he could replace 2 or 3 players. You could have the same conversation with Bellingham, with KDB, and with Gundogan for this kid.
Yeah.
I think I'm in line with Martin. Like I think Patrick is trying to tell us Jude Bellingham it could be a great player. I don't deny that. I think he could be a great player. I don't think he's to what we're talking about. I don't think he can replace Bernardo Silva. He can replace Gundo if Gundo goes and develop into the type of player Gundo is, but he cannot replace because the skill Bernardo Silva has when he was at Monaco, he still has it, which is the ball at his feet. You can't take it from him. That's not the
Right.
kind of player Jude Bellingham is. So if we're talking about a replacement for
Yeah.
Bernardo, that's not it.
Vader?
I
And-
think you're gonna, Carl. I think
Yeah.
you're gonna when Veda goes after Veda goes, you're gonna have to read most of the comments, Carl. There's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, apologies for that. Just with regards to the combo, I think I like the physicality that he has as a player. I think he can be taught the Pep's way, and I think he can be taught to be in the right movement and also that level of energy, and even retaining the ball, because that's something you can actually work on. Where I have questions for him is just, how technically sound is he, striking the ball, his range of pass, his range of shooting. But again, he is so young, right? He's so young. He's going to fall, obviously, as an English player, which helps with regards to that whole prospect, with regards to team balance and management. And guys, I've said this before, and I'm not putting him in that category, but my favorite player has been Yaya Toure. I'm not saying he's Yaya, but the physicality of the player, being able and to be skillful, I love seeing it. Can he grow to be that player? I would hope so. He would be under a fantastic manager that can guide him that way. And if he does come in and he's the replacement for either Silva or Gundogan, like we mentioned, that's the forward thing that we need, because we know that their time with us is actually short.
Can I just ask?
We have a few.
Can I just ask one very quick question to Tomatoes, just out of intrigue, because I'm just sort of trying to. You said there about how's he shooting. So I thought I'll go and have a look today. Bernardo Silva doesn't score bags of goals.
No, I know, and I'm not saying for him to be a direct replacement for Silva, because
Oh, right. I thought you meant in the direct Silva. Right, okay, yeah. I get your point.
It's actually one thing. It's actually one thing that I'm kind of like. I mean, we saw the goal that Silva took in the semifinal against Real Madrid, where play kind of stopped for a little bit. They weren't sure if a player was down, and he just rifled it top bins. And I asked him to shoot more. So for another player to maybe come in and maybe bring that element, that's kind of like why I threw it out there.
We have a few comments rolling through. Lachelle Blue says, if Pep's calm about Bernardo, then no worries. I like that. Just chill and relax. We hope you guys are enjoying the show, guys. We're looking at all the potential replacements if Bernardo goes. Big Morgan says, Barca testing the water. They always do this. They always do this.
Big Morgan says you're overrating him. He wasn't too good in big games versus Bayern. That is true. Says he's another English.
Yeah, but on that, I would say Haaland outshot against Bayern when he played in
Haaland, that's
all the time.
Haaland struggled against Bayern, but Bayern, they kind of play like we do. They don't let you touch the ball, so it's hard for Haaland to really be Haaland, with that. So
yeah. Katuta says, let's say Barca pay 95 to 100 million for Bernardo, and Pep tells Cheeky to bid 150 on Bellingham. Do you think Dortmund will refuse to sell? Whew, that's a hard one, mate. I mean, they value him at about 100 million, right? So they'll have to get a replacement. That's a problem. It's not just only the price now. The issue now is time. How much time do they have to replace him?
You know what, too, Carl? Something to consider is it also depends on where they are in the league, because maybe it's something that happens in the January window where they kind of know where they're going to land. They have things already in progress, so it's like, yeah, we can allow them to go.
And just Vader's point. So just last year, the trigger for this whole Haaland discussion, Patrick, remember, and I don't remember, the trigger was the day that they got kicked out of the Champions League. Remember that discussion?
Yeah.
That was a trigger. I think the next day we started doing the show for Haaland because we knew they're going to lose all that revenue, and all of a sudden they had to make money somewhere to get Erling Haaland. Big Moses says he's another English Grealish, overrated.
Does anyone know if he's got a release clause? Because it's very funny. Dortmund usually have release clauses for a lot of players.
Yeah, he probably does. He probably does. He probably has a release clause. But let's go to the next player that we want to talk about and make this one a little quicker this time. I know this is an interesting topic. So we think that Jude will not be this year. It may be next year for City, correct? Everyone?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
It'd be good to
thanks,
have you
yeah.
on the team.
With Liverpool being the ones that have laid down the foundation, I don't know. This particular one, I'm not going to be on this train. I think I'm dropping off at this station because I keep hearing that Liverpool have been talking to him for a while. So unless he wants to follow Haaland, unless he wants to play for Pep, but I heard he's convinced to play for Klopp, and Klopp is more the manager that has signed an extension openly, so he knows about that. So if they're talking, I don't know, on Jude, I don't know. I think I am more convinced with Lucas Paqueta because he seems like the guy who everybody's talking about. That City are looking at him. So, but anyway, Jude, I wouldn't mind if you walked in through the door. I think it's actually be good to have all the English superstars in our team: Phillips, or Foden, Jude. You know what I mean? That would be great. John Stones. It'd be such a good foundation for the team or backbone.
So looking at Paqueta himself, clearly he's a right-sided player, and his bias is on the right side. This is again from last season, his heat map. Bernardo smokes him in all areas: creativity, 72 over 69, attacking. Actually, he's actually more attacking than Bernardo is because he's a Brazilian. Technically, Bernardo again smokes him. I believe defensively as well, and tactically as well. Bernardo smokes him. But here's a guy who's at Lyon. He has 2 years left on his contract. He earns £10,000 a week. How hard is it to do business with Lyon, Martin and Veta?
I'll let Veta go.
Yeah. Veta. So how hard is it to do business with Lyon? We know that in Ndombele, they charged an arm and a leg and 2 children for it against Tottenham, and he's gone back there. His heat map, I mean, it's not like Bernardo's, but we heard about this guy. Any thoughts on this guy, Ade, Patrick?
I think definitely not a replacement for Bernardo Silva. Let me just get that out the way.
Yeah.
If we're just talking in general, I would say we would look at him if we were looking like long-term future of our right winger, which is Riyad Mahrez. But Riyad Mahrez just signed an extension, and I think we're still waiting. It's a wait and see on Cole Palmer. He seems to be a bit injury prone. So if we don't have any kind of faith in him as a long term, I think we might look at Lucas Paqueta. I don't know how to say his name. I think we might look at him as a successor to Riyad Mahrez on that wing. But outside of that, he's definitely not a replacement for Bernardo.
I like him. I like him a lot, man. I like him a lot. I think his passing is good. He's very hungry for goal. He can play into that midfield. He knows how to give a pass. The thing about Lucas Paqueta I like is he likes to dribble and take on his man, and he's not shy to get into the box, and he's not shy to shoot. Do you get what I mean? So I understand why they're looking at him, because don't forget that Pep is a genius, right? He knows that I'm losing Gundogan. It's either he finds another Gundogan out there or he doesn't. If he finds another sort of player that's a different sort of play style, I'm pretty sure him as a manager would be interested to say, let me go for this guy. As I say, Paqueta reminds me a bit of De Bruyne with his passing, but he's more aggressive. It's more, Brazilians. It's more, I'll take you on. And Ade is a bit right here. He's a midfielder, but he likes dragging himself to the wings a lot. That let me go play this side. What I can say about this guy, if he comes in, I wouldn't, because he's very quick. I would not mind, because that midfield will be very quick. So for me, this guy is a yes. Unfortunately, I am not very happy. Carl, I told you, I just found out that Husson, is it Houston? Was it Husson? Yeah. Who is just 24 years old, by the way. I didn't know. He's going to Nottingham Forest. That guy, I can say today, if I saw him walking through the door with Paqueta, I would love that midfield. If I saw Husson come in here, because that guy is, on his day, he ripped us apart. Unfortunately, he's got a brother who is a bit greedy and likes breaking down these big moves. So maybe I think Husson just wants to leave France by going to Nottingham Forest, but I don't see him staying there for so long. But Paqueta, I wouldn't mind getting Paqueta.
I remember a year ago, 2 ago, we talked about Husam Awa up to death. I mean, we thought we were going to get him. There was a lot of stories about him.
He's a baller.
But with Paqueta, yeah, he's good. He's a good player. With this Paqueta guy, I like his energy. Has a lot of energy. Is it a Bernardo replacement? Not directly, not similar, but I think he can be molded into that. And then he has a contract to 2025. His wages is, I mean, he earns 10K a week, right? That's what he earns compared to what our players earn. So the deal won't be hard to make. And the wages, the issue now becomes Leon. How much time do we have to get a replacement? Do they have to get a replacement? And will Leon deal with City in what, 10 days or so?
Did you hear?
They've
Did you
got
hear?
financial issues though. Leon have
Yeah,
got
Martin.
major financial issues at the moment.
Martin, did you hear
Okay.
about the owner of Leon? He's another Daniel Levy.
Yeah, but they are seriously in the mud for money at the moment. That's why Aouar's just gone out for like 15 million. They're literally just clawing anything they can get back. Now, I know for a fact the club have scouted Paqueta. They have absolutely looked at him as a Bernardo replacement. They've looked at him. They've sent scouts to do assessments, watch. So it's definitely on a list. Whether he's top of that list, I don't know. I don't know where he is on the list. That's the thing with City. They have 4 or 5 on a list. They don't just have one. They have a list of where they'll go down to, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Let's see some of the comments here. Yes, Big Morgan says Leon have money problems. Jesse. Hey, Jesse, how are you, man?
How you doing, Jesse, man?
Jesse's
Pick up to you, Jesse.
United.
Yeah.
Another good guy. Sorry, Jesse, about United, mate. I thought, you guys are going to be Brentford. It's just unfortunate, but you have a chance at Liverpool.
Don't ever apologise for that, Carl. Don't ever apologise for United getting hammered.
Jesse's a good guy. Jesse's a good
We picked the wrong team, didn't we?
Kamal says the reality is stylistically we won't find a Bernardo replacement. True.
Yeah.
But Pep, being the genius he is, may look to tweak the midfield dynamic.
What do you guys think? Why we're on this topic? I want to listen to Veta, Carl, Ade, and Martin. What do you guys think of Marketing? Because Marketing, I thought he was going to just stay around the first team, and then he'll get a few minutes in the FA Cups and stuff like that. Because Marketing is a rare talent. If you looked at our academy, not many can also keep the ball as Marketing. Like, do you know how they call Bernardo Bubblegum? If you watch Marketing, nobody was taking the ball off his feet. He plays as if he's a Spanish player. So what do you think? Do you think it's a good thing to send him on loan? Because I've seen on loan he's played a few minutes, but they keep putting him on the bench.
Who does he play for? Who does he come in for?
I mean, like the FA Cups and I was thinking the FA Cups and Carabao Cups.
But the trouble is, this is the problem. It's like Carl said ages ago. These lads have won the EDS title for the last 2 years. And I think Pep even said it was it yesterday or another? He mentioned it very, very not so long ago that these players have now finished with the EDS. They're done with that now. So you've got to make a choice. Do you bring them into a first team Manchester City, or do you say go on loan? Now, I heard exactly the same, and that's why I was quite annoyed about it, actually. But him and Palmer were the next two in, and they were never going to let him go on loan. But then I listened to the Man City Spaces with Hassan and all them. I think you were in it, Kyle. And there was a comment in there that made me think,
Martin, I think your internet is cutting off.
Can you hear me?
It's cutting off. No, you're cutting on and off.
I can hear you.
Well, you can hear him.
Sorry,
is it just me?
Oh.
Yeah, but we can hear. Go ahead, Martin.
No, I was just going to say, I think thinking about it, it might have been sign the contract, get you out on loan, and if you don't make it, we get a decent fee for you. I don't know. McAtee is a strange one. It is a strange one, that one for me. But like I said, who does he replace? There's about 4 or 5 players in front of him.
That becomes the issue because if he stays on the bench, he doesn't improve.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't improve. So he has to go out on loan and get game time.
Yep.
And hopefully come back. Let's talk about the next one here, and everybody knows how much I love this guy. Everybody knows in the world. It would really hurt me if he went to Chelsea because I just think that if it's not at Barcelona, right, I think he just has to come to us. But I'll let you guys talk about this. But Frankie de Jong and Bernardo Silva, look at the heat maps of both players. Look at the numbers in terms of the Bernardo in green and Frankie in blue. Frankie beats him technically. Bernardo's better in the attacking sense. Bernardo's better with creativity. And I believe defensively, Frankie's probably a little better, and tactically, Frankie's better, way better. And the heat map tells us that Frankie actually spends a lot of time all over the whole field, but really between the middle boxes, right? You see, Bernardo's more towards kind of the attacking box. Frankie spends a lot of time right in the middle, that central midfield kind of role, playing as a 6 and an 8, a 6 and an 8, left and right, left and right. We talked about this before about Frankie de Jong, about the potential of that swap between the two. Martin, did you want to talk about that some more? What your thoughts are around the swap, the potential for that swap?
This for
and
me,
how the transaction could work?
yeah, this for me is why I'm 50-50. Because while Frankie de Jong is still at Barcelona, that's how Bernardo leaves. And I come back to this charity game. It's a very simple deal, as you said, Carl. It is a very, very simple deal to get done. And it actually solves all Barcelona's issues and solves our issues in one big go. 20-minute conversation at the Camp Nou next week. Both do the medicals there. One stays, one comes home with us. And I know people think that's so simplistic, but that is the only way at such a short time this deal gets done and everybody's smiling by the end of it. It is the only way this deal gets done. You go halves on his £14 million wages, he's off the books, Bernardo goes, he's happy. Because one thing I will say, I was a little bit annoyed at Bernardo on Saturday night, not because he went away, but because use your brain. With all the speculation going on, you don't need to be pictured at an airport going out to Spain. You use your noggin a little bit, use your brains. So he was badly advised on that stage for me. It just sparked all the speculation back off again. So it's the only way this deal gets done. There is no time to negotiate with Leon, no time to negotiate with Dortmund, because as you said, they've got to get replacements in. This Frankie de Jong deal, no money, £7 million, bang, done.
Yeah. And Barcelona have history with doing swaps, right? I did it for, I believe, a player that they sent to Inter Milan or Juve. I can't remember his name, Veta or Patrick. Is it Pjanic or some player? Whoever's online,
Pjanic.
I think let us.
I think it's Pjanic who came from Juve. And I don't think.
I mean, to Martin's point, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think he lived up to what his potential was going over to Barca. But this Frankie de Jong, it makes a lot of sense, right? It's kind of like we've all played Monopoly, and it's kind of like I'm trying to fulfill my 3 colors, and you're trying to get your 3 colors. I have one of yours, you have one of mine. Let's swap and make everything cool. It seems like it could be that easy. The thing that I would want to ask is, and I missed it, but how long is this contract for? Like, would it require us now only having him for a 2-year spell and having to revisit an extension, or what do you think it would mean if this swap were to happen?
His contract is till 2026 with Barcelona. The problem he's having right now is that a couple of things. Number one, the club don't want him because he's the highest wage earner in the club. It breaks their new wage structure, right? And he earns $474K a week. The club owe him, 17 million pounds or so in deferred wages. He didn't take a pay cut, he took deferred wages. The rest of them took a pay cut and deferred the wages. And so in order for them to register players and also keep that FFP limit, if you would, they have to get him off their books. Now, they started this whole campaign about him, about suing him and going back to cancel the contract and going back to the old contract he was on, which tells us that clearly they want him out. I don't know how they reverse that and he goes back to a club that wants to sue him and get out. And the fans are already booing him in the stadium. Now, the option for United, in my opinion, is not a valid one because he doesn't want to go to United. Doesn't play Europa League football, doesn't want to be part of a project. He likes to join a team already in the mix, if you would, right? In terms of the swap, the valuations for both players are literally the same, about 85 million, literally the same, based on the contract length. Each has about 3 years left on a contract, about that, right? So valuations are about the same. Wages are different, but you can get around that by offering him a wage that's within the city wage structure. Because if not, he's still going to take a pay cut at Barcelona, or he goes to United and not want to play football. So for him, right, it's literally which club is available for me to join that's in Champions League, a place where I want to play, that can give me a wage that's commensurate and good, I may not get 474K anyway going forward. So the deal really is literally in our opinion, a swap deal between the two. A swap deal between the two. It just, as Martin said, come next week, they do a nice romantic, swap shirts at the Camp Nou. Everybody shakes hand, wages here, and play a game, charity. Everybody's happy. Everybody goes home. And I think, Patrick, what
it's
do you
because
guys
it seems so easy. It's because it seems so easy. I think people, I get they're finding it hard to believe, but the thing is, he can't stay at Barcelona because of his wages. He's not going to give up his 14, 15, 16 million quid that Barcelona want him to do. What Barcelona are doing to him is personally disgusting, if you ask me. I mean, I wouldn't want to stay at a club that's going to screw me over like that. I think it's wrong.
It is. I think if the issue is the wages, then I mean, I don't. While I would love him to come to City and be a replacement for Bernardo, if the issue is the money, he's not getting that at City. We're not going to pay him 470 something million pounds a week. It's just not going to happen. So to me, that's a non-starter. It's just there's no way to go from there. If it's a money issue and he wants to get paid this money that Barcelona owes him, why would he come to City and take almost 100 million pounds less? So I don't see how that works out. But if it does work out, it's great. It just doesn't seem realistic if it's about the money.
The issue is
it's a dream, isn't it?
Well, think about it is from his perspective, right? If I stay at Barcelona, I'm going to get reduced wages, right?
No, he doesn't have to. If he doesn't agree to it, they'll fight it out.
Doesn't leave.
Yeah, they'll fight it out. He could be another Gareth Bale. Who knows? And say, you know what? I'm not leaving. You just pay me my money. Like I want my money. Like you guys owe me money. You're not going to bully me and say, yeah, you can go away. No, I'm not going away. Give me my money.
That's a fact.
So it's possible he can be that.
That's a scenario that could happen.
Yeah, it's very possible. It's a very possible scenario, especially if he's not, if there's not a trade made this season. He could very well say, "That's fine. You want to keep me on the bench." It looks bad for Barcelona because they're trying to bully the guy because you owe him the money.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
That's true. So if that happens, though, then they don't get Bernardo.
They don't exactly.
Right.
So that's why I started off with this. I don't see how Bernardo works out for them right now. Next season, if they come to an agreement with De Jong and he says, you know what, I might leave, blah blah blah, and then all of this comes back, all these analysis comes back and says, okay, we can go from here now. But right now, with the problems they're having with registering players and Frankie De Jong, and they're talking about Marcos Alonso, it sounds ridiculous to me. Like Barcelona just seems like they want to be in the news. They want to be in the news so bad.
You know the funny thing about the whole deal. So I watched the Barcelona game this weekend. I watched them against was it Almeria or some club, some club, Huesca, something like that, right? And it was horrible, man.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Big Morgan says, could he not come to City and United pay his wages? Big Morgan, you're a comedian today. McLovin says Bernardo is stressing an entire fan base. I hear you, buddy. And I don't know who this is, but it's good. Barca can still get Bernardo if they sell Depay and Aubameyang. If those two leave, there will be space for his wages. It's possible that could happen as well. But anything is possible at this point. We only have a little bit of time to go, so we'll see.
Yeah, I just don't see City selling Bernardo if they can't get a replacement. And the only replacement I think that's available for them that fits the profile, a direct quality replacement, is this guy here. And if he's not going to leave, to your point, Ade, the deal ain't happening. Yeah. You can't have Kessie, Frankie de Jong, Gavi, what's that boy's name again? The Pedri.
And those are the guys Patrick were talking about. All these young talents that they have. And then you're going to throw Bernardo in the mix. What do you do with that young talent? You tell him to sit on the bench again? I mean, all right, good luck.
And Ferran Torres is there. He can't even get game time. He can't play.
So, can I just go back? There's a point. Someone just made a comment there, and I'm sorry for just jumping in there, gentlemen. I do apologize. That McLovin says there about Bernardo stressing the whole fan base. That is really getting on my wick a little bit. Because, got to remember, this is 2 years. This is 2 summers now. He's done this. Now I know Pep has come out and made really nice comments about him, but he did the exact same over Raheem Sterling. Told everyone that Raheem Sterling was amazing and everything else. And we all knew behind the scenes they weren't getting on and weren't talking. And it wasn't so much the West Ham game, because I understood the West Ham. Like Carl said, what bugged me over Saturday was, tactically, there was no reason to drop Bernardo to the bench. Now, Bernardo Silva last season played 35 out of 38 league games. He was virtually the first guy on the sheet. And now he can't get in. So, for me, Pep can dress it up every way he wants, but trust me now, Pep will be peeved off with him. Because he's always said, you're not happy, don't be here. I don't want a dressing room with someone's bottom lip dragging across the bottom of the floor. That is no good to anybody, that at this point. It's no good to anyone. And the thing that's made it worse, it's so public now that Bernardo wants out, to the extent where he's agreed terms and he's gone shopping for houses in Barcelona and everything else that he's done. He's done everything but put the Barcelona shirt on up to now. It's at a point where it's like, come on. I mean, for me, I don't even think he gets the season. I think if he doesn't go this summer, I think he 100% goes in January. I think he goes in January and City will replace in January. Because Pep said a week ago, something he never says, we've got January's window. Pep never mentions January windows. We very rarely, other than Laporte, and I know we've signed a couple of others, but we generally stay very quiet in January. So, I think if Bernardo doesn't go this summer, I think he goes in January. I think we spend now till January getting a replacement in for him. I don't think he sees a full season.
I mean, if there's one thing we've learned from the past two games, Martin and guys, is that, Gundogan, and we don't appreciate this guy enough, Ilkay Gundogan. Always quiet, never complains, never creates a fuss. Does things quietly, leads the team. He saved our season last year, guys. Ilkay Gundogan.
Yeah.
He saved our season. I mean, fact. Scored the 2 goals, got us to the championship. This season, gave Haaland the assist and scores the opening goal last weekend.
I don't think it's just even last season. Remember the season where Gondo was the highest goal scorer on the team?
My Twitter name is Gundalorian, right? And the reason why I picked that name is because of that season.
Gondo was fantastic.
Because that season was a Mandalorian, right? We know Mandalorian was one who saved Baby Yoda, and they had all that stuff. And that was the season where Gundo was playing ball. And I guess a light bulb came on, just merged the two, and here we are.
Yeah, and I'm with Martin a little bit on this.
You're a genius.
I get the frustration. I get the frustration with Martin, and I'm there too. I think because I've actually told Carl this offline. I don't think we have Bernardo Silva next year, come what may. I think Bernardo Silva is gone. My only thing is, I feel like anybody trying to do a deal with City right now, it has to be a great deal. We're not going to let him go for some measly amount because he's grumpy. No, it's going to be a great deal, just like we got for Sane, and then he'll be on his way. I think that at the end of the day, even be it the January window, but most likely next year he won't be on the team. I think this is just too much of a distraction. So it's not that I think we're going to have him forever and he's going to change his mind. No, I'm far gone from that. He's a great player. But I think he has made it clear that he wants to leave, and we just have to find the best deal for him come summer or hopefully January, and then we just move on. We need to move on.
Yeah, I know, and you know what, and that's the comment I was about to say, Carl. I have also been saying this. I think I told you that I have accepted that the fact that he wants to go, and we were in a Martin. I think all of us were in this other cocoon where we were begging. Let's be honest, all of us were saying, please don't let this be right. Please stay. But I think it reaches a point where you're like, you know what, this guy doesn't want to be here. I'd rather have an academy kid who wants to fight for the badge or who wants to stay here. I'm not trying to say, and I said something, and people went after me on Twitter saying, how dare you say this? He fights for the team. Don't get me wrong. I don't say Bernardo Silva doesn't go and give 110% on the pitch. You have to understand that we're trying to say that we can't go through this every season where we are having a player working for Barcelona. Every season, all he's doing is working Barcelona. Let me give you an example, a simple example, and maybe this you understand. Let's say you've got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, And every time you go out, they're always twerking with somebody else, the girlfriend or the boyfriend. Either way, they're always with other people, and they're dancing, grinding. You know, those sort of dances. Don't you have enough? You had enough. You go at home and have that conversation and say, my friend, every time we go out, or every time I am at work, I hear you go out and this is what you do. I think I've had enough. You cannot go on forever. So this is what we're trying to say. As City fans, we love Bernardo Silva. That's the reason why they were singing his name. But we can't have this every season. That's why I say two things, Martin. I said, number one, it's either he comes out himself as a player, and say, I am dedicated to Man City. I'm staying at Man City. I love Man City. And he mustn't go to interviews and say, when they ask him, what about Barcelona? He says, I have no comment, but you never know what happens in the future. Those comments he makes during his interviews, he's leaving an open door. Have you seen De Bruyne, what he says? I'm staying at the club. I think I'm addicted to this club. I'm here to stay. That's why they all say. But if you say, oh, I don't know what the future holds, do you know what happens? Barcelona, Laporta is smiling, saying, yeah, keep on saying that. Number two, sign the contract, extend the contract, and it's done and dusted. But in the meantime, we know that the agent and himself, they give an open window for these things to go this far. For Barcelona to have the guts to go after our player, it's because there's an open window. How come Madrid are not going for De Bruyne? Because they know De Bruyne shut the door. They're not going for Foden because they know they won't get him at all. So, guys, for me, I think he either comes out and says it, but I have a feeling by the way he's talking with the statuses, even that status. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, but even the status he wrote after the fans clapped him. Do you know, guys, if he wanted to close this whole Barcelona thing, that statement, he could have said, thank you, fans. I'm here to stay. I love the club. But all he said is, thank you, I love the club. But he never said, I'm here to stay. Because guess what? He's leaving an open door just in case the Barcelona deal happens. That's what I'm saying.
But this is what I said to Cal yesterday. He hasn't shut this. Nobody's ever shut this Bernardo stuff down. I mean, I said to you, didn't I, Cal? Pep has had ample opportunity in the last 2 days to shut it all down and go, he's not going, it's too late. And nobody said it.
But Martin, Pep said that if we do lose a player, I'm assuming that we all know who he's talking about, we will get a replacement. Which forces this argument about this particular guy here. Because I don't think we can go after Lucas Paquetá or Nicola Barella or these other guys.
There's one option. There's only one option. It sounds daft, but sadly, Pep does not suffer fools. He will be sat in front of the press. He always said, I'll protect every single one of my players out in the press. I'll protect him. I'll back you. He said that for many years now. Behind the scenes will be very different. And what upsets me a little bit, it's a shame that, sadly, I can see this ending the same way as Sterling. Said it to Vader the other night. I can really see this ending the exact same way with Sterling, where it's just not messy, but it's not ended in a nice romantic way. It'll just be like, all right then, ta-da. And it's sad. It really is sad. It really is. It was just, and maybe I'm looking into it too much, because here's one thing. That was the last home game, presumably, until, our next home game is the 27th, 28th against Crystal Palace. I think it's 27th. That's 4 days before a window shuts. So if he is going to go, he's gone before then. So Saturday was his only time to say goodbye to the fans. That was his only time. Yeah. But in my other head, on the other side of my head, I'm going, well, Harry Kane did that and he stayed. So Harry Kane did a lap of honour and went by at Wolverhampton Wanderers, if we all remember. So, and gave away his boots and walked off in his underwear. So I'm just, you know what? I'm drained of it all. Just make a decision. I'm drained of it all. Listen, I'm not Mahrez's biggest fan, but at least he said, I'm here to fight.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva ain't doing that.
Martin, I think he can't say anything because it's not in his control. It's all up to Frankie de Jong right now. Because if Frankie doesn't go, there's no way they get Bernardo Silva. I don't think there is a way to get Bernardo. If Frankie stays on the books, I don't see how they get Bernardo Silva.
Oh, no, he's only
Frankie has to go.
And there's someone in the comments, I don't know who it is, says, say Pep won't go after, or wouldn't suit Frankie. Pep wanted Frankie de Jong before he went to Barcelona. We were
100%.
literally in talks for weeks with Ajax trying to get Frankie de Jong to Manchester City, and he chose Barcelona over us. So this is a player Pep likes and likes very much.
Yeah.
I watched the game again last weekend where he was playing when he came on. He came on about 60 minutes. And I watching him play, I was like, wow, this kid would ball in this team. He carries the ball. He progresses the ball all the way from the defensive third to the attacking third, and he gives that last pass. You know how a player would carry that ball, dribble through the middle, and then in the last third, give the last pass, which is why in his heat map, you don't see a lot of action in the penalty box. Because what he does, he carries the ball to the last man, right? Kevin De Bruyne carries and passes. Gundogan will play in the pockets. This guy carries the ball all the way through the midfield, kind of like Bellingham in a way, but across both sides of the field. It's just, you know, it's we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But this guy's gone. Forget about him.
Yeah. I'm over it already.
Nunes is going to Wolves. Yeah, Nunes is going to Wolves, so he's gone. I know Chelsea wanted him. Somebody just joined us as well. Let me see who joined us on the channel. Martin left and joined us back.
Yeah, sorry, I lost the signal there. It was Patrick's fault. He preempted it.
Yeah, so Nunes is gone. Let's not waste time with him. And then the last person here is this guy from Italy, Nicola Barella. I put my wife's name there. Imagine that. So he's the one, but I don't think this is happening because 2026.
Wait, Chill. What did you do?
Nicole.
I put my wife's name instead of
Nicola.
Yeah.
So you so we're signing up.
It was late. It was like 1 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, I know. My bad. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think this guy. We thought about him, but he's a good player. But I don't think too much money. He's an Inter. He's a key player for Inter. He's Italian. They don't like to really come to the English league. I don't see him coming. But of all the people that we have, guys, I mean, what do you guys think? Is Bernardo coming? Is he staying? What's happening? What's our final verdict on this whole Bernardo Silva saga?
I think it's possible that he leaves in the January window, like Big Morgan said. Martin said. Other than that, I'm not really worried about this, man. I mean, everybody thought it was the end of the world when Sane left. When Sane left, everybody thought it was the end of the world. Like, oh, we let this young, super fast winger go. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? We moved on. So he's a great player, but we'll move on. We're not. I think City is too big at this point to worry over players. Like, we're a big club. We don't worry. If a guy leaves, we have the manager, we have the system in place. We will plug the hole. It will happen. David Silva left. It wasn't the end of the world. Yaya Toure left, one of the greatest midfielders City has ever seen. And we were like, man, how do we go from low end steps on Kevin De Bruyne? Life goes on, man. Like, we need to start looking at ourselves as a Barca, as a Real Madrid. The players will come. The system is in place. The players will come. I'm not worried about Bernardo Silva. I love him to death. I think he's a fantastic player. But if he leaves, man. We move on. Maybe we get Frankie. Who knows? We might pull a rabbit out of a hat again. We might get another Diaz in the back where nobody was checking for Diaz. All of a sudden, Diaz is one of the best center backs in the world. We move on, man. We're a big club.
Absolutely. It's 50-50. And then, unfortunately, time is running out. And the more time runs out, the less Bernardo Silva is likely to leave, in my opinion. I think it gets closer to the end of the window. Two things can happen. Either Frankie comes or Bernardo stays. I don't think we go up messing around with Paquetá or all these guys out there. I think that it's just too close to the end of the window, and there's too much time has gone in order for us to
absolutely
wrap
Don
up the deal.
Smoke. Don Smoke says this is the beauty of not having a system built on a single player.
Correct.
Our system will rise again. I think, man, I can't even say better than you just did, buddy. That's it right there.
Yeah. When a software engineer talks, that's what happens.
That's just it right there. That's a beautiful statement. That's it.
Patrick, you want to wrap us up? I mean, everybody's been on the show for about almost an hour and a half now. We hope you enjoyed the presentation today. Again, the guys want to get together and just talk through, our thoughts around this whole Bernardo deal. I hope he stays. I love the guy. I think he's a baller for us. I mean, I think with when he starts cooking in the big games against Liverpool, against Chelsea, against United, and you have an Erling Haaland there, you have De Bruyne there, it's going to be sick. But Patrick, guys, you want to wrap us up, Patrick?
Yeah, let me wrap this up. I would like to thank Martin, Ade, Veta Games, and yourself, obviously, Carl, for pitch points for the invite. Guys, in the comments, we always appreciate you. I'm not going to do a name shout out because at this point in time, we're sort of family. So like the vid, guys, like the vid, share the vid, subscribe to the channel. Let's get pitch points to 500. We're currently on 200 now. Let's get pitch point to 500. Get them to that half 500 mark. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, man. This guy goes deep into investigation to investigate all this stuff, get all this research, which is amazing. And big up to Martin. Go to Mankinian Way, such a lovely channel. I'm still waiting for the invite, but the invite never comes, gets lost in the post. But such a lovely channel, Mankinian Way. Go subscribe to Mankinian Way, and obviously, yeah, and then also subscribe to Veda Games, which is also a very good channel, very humble. It's sort of a different atmosphere at Veta. He's calm and collected, and he always interacts with the people. So that's it from us, guys. Until next time, we'll see you. Peace.